Hello, everyone. So, yeah, people are logging on pretty late. That session will be recorded. So, whoever does not want to be recorded should stay silent. If you have questions later, you can use the chat. Just waiting maybe 1 more minute because, yeah, a lot of people coming late. Also, in our other sessions, we recognize that people coming a little bit, well, late or on time. Hey, just checking who is attending. Greetings to Austria. Actually, customers and resellers. And Netherlands. The other ones, I'm not familiar. So we have partly new customers or new, customers. Sometimes some people have experience with PlantTools. Okay. More and more coming in. Yeah, so maybe I just get started. So yeah, hello to the first Plant session during our Auxalia Keynotes 2023. As I mentioned, this session is recorded, and this session is about using PlantTools for collaboration projects. And I want to give you an overview about the current adaptation and the workflows which we currently support. And yeah, my name, most of you probably know, is Carson. And I will continue and I find my mouse with the second slide. Okay, so yeah, my name, Carson. I'm the product manager of PlantTools. Besides that, I'm doing consulting for the process plant industry within Auxalia. I have way too much experience. I don't say the years, you can read yourself. And I used to develop software, which I don't do anymore. I was a user in the plant industry, a trainer, and again, I do consulting. I started with AutoCAD 9, and yeah, now, of course, have experience with Plant 3D or AutoCAD P90 2009 to 2024, and of course, now with BIM or Autodesk Collaboration Cloud, and then some experience with SQL Server and SQLite, which is, of course, well, needed if you work with Plant 3D. Just checking the user list from time to time. Okay, about Auxalia, we are a Autodesk Platinum partner with over 5,000 customers, 35 years of experience, about 70 employees, and we have 9 offices in Germany, Austria, Switzerland. I have a very short agenda. Mostly I will do presentation of the PlantTools. The first point is just to give you an overview about the current state of PlantTools, what is already released in regards to collaboration projects, of course, which PlantTools, which functions are available already, what remains, which functions in PlantTools, and then the biggest part is the showcasing of PlantTools with collaboration projects. Okay. Oh, greetings to America now. Hi, Greg. Okay, so current state. So I listed here the PlantTools. There's a second slide, and you see here done or missing the functions which are available or not yet. So for Plant Reporter, you can download projects if either the projects are already there, and if I talk about projects now, it's a collaboration projects. So I don't want to use that every time. So you can download or refresh projects if you use Plant Data Manager and you have changes in your changes you made in Plant Data Manager. These changes are also checked by Plant Reporter. Plant Reporter will or can download the SQL scripts used by PlantLink and link configurations. What is currently missing is for collaboration projects is the version and revisioning feature and the handling of the report configuration files, meaning that the report configuration files are stored and uploaded and downloaded and checked in and checked out within the project. Right now they are local or on some network drive. Plant Data Manager, it's also you can download and refresh. Of course, if you make changes, they are checked in, checked out, and I will show all that. Also in regards to the link configurations, I will show that as well. Missing are they are almost done, but they are currently missing the not placed objects, at least when they are created by Plant Data Manager. You will see in a moment when I talk about Plant Spec Driven. Calculations are, this is calculations is also almost done. Actually, I will show that, but it's not released. The setup of the properties palette, and again, the Plant Reporter report configuration files, because Plant Data Manager can also use the layout or the report configuration files to show the changes. Just checking. Okay. By the way, if you have any questions, then use the chat of Teams. I will later or in between try to answer your questions or at the end of that session. PlantLink is completely adapted for collaboration projects. Everything is checked in, checked out, and I will give you also a little demonstration here. Plant Spec Driven, as I mentioned, so not placed objects, and I will show that, are also working with collaboration projects. And the Plant Spec Driven configuration files themselves, if you set up Plant Spec Driven, they are checked in or checked out and downloaded. What is missing is, especially when using the tree of Plant Spec Driven, you can open a drawing from the Plant Spec Driven tree, but it does not check out the drawing. So there is some manual work, but in general, it can be used. Okay, and for Plant Express tools, there is in theory nothing finished, but we are almost done with Plant Project Managers and the BIM function. So be able to check in to check in a drawing or to check out a drawing, open a drawing, run all the BIM functions you have or you are used to in the regular project manager. The assemblies function is that is actually done but not released. Calculations are done but not released. The symbols palette is also almost done. We are currently, the files are handled, but some finishing touches. And missing, I don't want to list all the functions. As you may or may not know, Plant Express tools are 22 different or 22 functions. And so what we want to do is we make intermediate releases with as soon as, let's say, some functions are ready to be released, and then we can make a new release and then work on the remaining functions. Otherwise, everyone would need to wait till everything is done, and we don't want to keep you under suspense. So and some functions are very rarely used or by only a few customers. So we concentrate on the most important functions or the mostly wide used. And there are some functions like the line annotation update or the tag and acquisition update, which don't require any adaptation for collaboration projects. Okay, remaining Plant tools and functions, it's almost can be retrieved from the slides before. In Plant Center, everything essentially, not quite sure how long we will support Plant Center, but the whole downloading of project and so on has to be implemented. Plant clash detection, there is nothing needed because it just runs in Plant 3D to make a clash detection, and there are some settings, but they are stored locally, and there is nothing to do, and there are no configuration files for Plant clash detection. Plant Data Manager, as I mentioned before, the not placed objects, calculations, almost done. Plant properties palette setup and the report configuration files. And Plant Express Tools, again, a lot of functions here, which are still need to be adapted. And Plant Reporter, yeah, it's also from before. Version revision and the handling of report configuration files. And Plant Spec Driven is then all the, let's say, opening of drawings, when checking, when using the attribute flow, but it's mostly about opening and closing drawings so they are checked out and checked in again. Also when using the inconsistency function of Plant Spec Driven. So that we have now a library of functions we can use, so it's pretty quick to adapt these functions. It's just in general a manpower problem. We do one thing after the other. PlantSync, it's essentially everything, although there is a configuration file or can be configuration files, but in PlantSync and also some Plant Express Tools functions, the challenge we have here is that the project, if you want to make any change to your project setup, you need to check out your project. Then you can make changes in project setup, and then if you are done, and it will be checked in. And for example, PlantSync for regular network projects just makes these changes without the need of actually checking out a project. So this is a little challenge here for when working with collaboration projects. Okay, yeah, and then demo. What I will show is Plant Data Manager, how to download projects, how that works when you work with multiple users in collaboration projects, the link configurations, calculations, and accepting of changes when you make changes with Plant Data Manager, which is the main purpose. Plant Reporter, I will show that as well if there are pending changes. You will understand later in case you are not familiar with every function of our PlantTools. With Plant Express Tools, I will show that the assemblies are implemented, will create a new calculation. What I actually did not show here, PlantLink. I will also show PlantLink. That we will create a new link configuration and show that this is then also, let's say, synchronized with a second machine. Plant Spec Driven is a separate little project I have, which I will use to showcase the not placed objects created by Plant Spec Driven, and then how they appear in Plant Data Manager. And finally, the detailed description about everything which I explain here. So I will just, that's the last slide essentially. So what I want to show is first the documentation. So if you have any plant tool and you have a user interface open and you press F1, you are guided to the online documentation. And for example, for Plant Data Manager or for all the plant tools which are adapted or partly adapted for collaboration projects, we have in this case, Plant Data Manager, there is a collaboration workflows category, the same here for PlantLink or for Plant Reporter. So let me just collapse that. And for Plant Data Manager here, for example, first there is a warning. So regarding latency in general with collaboration projects, of course, it's not a network. It's not your local network. It's runs over the internet. So everything is a little bit slower. Actually, I have one more slide, which is very, very important. Let me just, sorry, forgot about that. I had this, I changed it to a different location. So this one. Patience when working with collaboration projects. It's really important because, things are just slower. So what we have here, for example, general workflow are what is happening in this case with Plant Data Manager when you execute certain functions. And it explains exactly, well, this is about the configuration files. For example, if you open an existing collaboration project, which files are downloaded, uploaded, or checked out, and so on. So here, this is helping our customers to really understand what is happening in regards to the files. And And for us, it's really to review if we included everything or if there is something missing. Okay, so that is about the documentation. Now, before I start with the, part of the presentation is where do you find all these configuration files? Well, on your hard drive, they are where they always are in your project under the AC PlantTools folder. But since we need to check them in and check them out and so on, they need to be part of the Plant3D project. So what we did is we show them here under related files. And then we have an AC PlantTools folder, although physically it's not under related files. It's really under the project, under related files. And then we have, for example, Plant Data Manager, there's nothing in it. But here, for example, Plant Express Tools. So the file or the folder structure is as it always was. It's just in case you search, it's not physically under related files. It's still under the project, under related files. And the advantage here, of course, is that if there is any question or if you want to do anything manual, you have all the check-in and check-out functions also for these configuration files. But typically, you would not need that. It's just to give you an idea where they are. And they also appear here under, let's use PlantLink, for example. They also appear in regular Project Manager. In Plant Project Manager, they can be hidden. It's a setting when in case you do not want to see them. But again, it's very useful. Okay, so for the purpose of this presentation, I have my host machine, my regular PC, and I have a virtual machine to simulate two users. They also have different usernames, which makes it easier to see the difference. And here on my host machine, I have a dark background, and also my PlantTools are set in dark mode. And on the virtual machine, I have the light, maybe I turn off the grid. I have a light color scheme, and also the PlantTools are set to light color scheme. Also, I use a different background color. So I typically will mention it that we are in a VMware or a virtual machine or not. Okay, so what I want to do is I actually will start with Plant Data Manager. And the first thing I want to show is opening a BIM project which is not available yet locally. So here in my BIM local, this is my folder where my collaboration collaboration folds are. And you can either select if you already have this, or you can use Open Collaboration Project, the same way as you do in Plant3D. It's just a different looking dialog, but the content is almost the same. And of course, depending on the speed of BIM in general, sometimes there is some maintenance work going on. Last night, my developer had problems to log in at all. So depending on the speed of Amazon in this case, you get here your list. Like again, the dialog looks a little bit different, but it's essentially the same. You have, I only have here one collaboration account. You have your projects, which here for this user also have only one. And then you have your projects, your Plant3D projects. You can also, especially if you use all accounts, which doesn't bring me more projects. So you can also search for projects if your list is very long. So in my case, I will just select that and open the project. And now on the right side, you will see that the project will be downloaded the same way as Plant3D does it. And the way that works while we are waiting is that Autodesk asked us in beginning of 21 how they can help us with PlantTools for our customers for collaboration projects. So what Autodesk did is for the Plant3D 2023 version, to make the BIM functions you have in Plant3D, like opening a project or downloading a project or opening a project, checking out a drawing, checking in a drawing, or in general, checking out and checking in and refresh from project, to make these functions available even for desktop applications. Sorry. And the way that works is that in the background, we start the so-called AC Core Console. This is AutoCAD That's an executable. That's AutoCAD without a user interface. You can actually start this also manually. And what then Plant Data Manager does, it sends commands to that AutoCAD and to use all these BIM functions. However, it is slower to execute it this way than as if you would be already in Plant 3D. But if you think about who is the user of Plant Data Manager or Plant Reporter, it's an engineer who wants to edit data or who wants to create a report. So currently, Plant 3D is required 23 or 24 or 2023 or 2024. It will not work for older AutoCAD versions. But a license is required, although the user does not see that AutoCAD is actually running. Okay, so now we make some changes. So this is now a typical workflow of Plant 3D. So I will just type in some changes. So, and as it always is, Plant Data Manager will show the changes here in yellow background color. Maybe I change the tag. Also, okay, and you can see that also in the properties palette, but that's all standard Plant 3D. Now I will, so I'm in my virtual machine, so I will use, I will close that and save them as ready for import. So for those of you who do not know Plant Data Manager, ready for import is required so the CAD user later can import my changes. They are stored in a temporary database file. I will do this. It's the so-called the PDM data cache. And this PDM data cache exists for each of the PDM users. So while I'm waiting till that file is checked in, yeah, actually, I would not. It's not. You can work parallel. I show it in a different way here because yeah, I have here my script and I'm a little bit under time constraint. So now I'm on my host machine. So here you see it on the dark. So different user. So I will open the project, which is here. It's already downloaded. So this is why it's in the list. So what happens now that here, this Plant Data Manager will download the changes of my colleague, so to speak, from the virtual machine. And yeah, it's also refreshing from project. All these BIM functions are available. Now it's downloading the data cache of other users. So that is from the virtual machine. By the way, the username here on my host machine is CB, like my initials, and the other user is PlantTools. So in case that will come up during that presentation. So what Plant Data Manager will now show, it will show the changes of other users in cyan. The colors can be configured. You can also see this information here, old value by user PlantTools. You can see that here in the tooltips. So, and again, the editing can be done parallel. So only that in this case, I close Plant Data Manager on the other machine, but that is not mandatory. Let's say we use one. Okay, so I'm done. Actually, I want to show this here, but yeah, it's the same, just different values. You can see the changes of your colleague or colleagues as well. Okay, just checking my list here. Okay, now I'm checking in that as well. And I will definitely be more than it will definitely be more than 30 minutes. Try to rush it a bit. Maybe I skip the plant spectrum part. We will see. Where is, I'm just trying to find, just checking the number of attendees and if there's anyone new. I don't think so. Okay, I'm going back to my virtual machine where I will start Plant Reporter. So here I will also select the project, which is, again, now it's already downloaded. So Plant Reporter will also refresh from project. And so this will now download the changes I made as a second user on my host machine. But what Plant a reporter does when you when there are changes which have not been yet imported into the drawings, what happens is that when I create a report, it warns me that there are changes, and this is what I want to show. So Plant Reporter doesn't, Plant Reporter does not incorporate the changes which are not imported yet in the drawing, and will just kind of merge it into the report, because that would lead to reports which show data or changes which are actually not in the drawing/project. So that would be kind of dangerous. Of course, from a technical point of view, it would be possible, but it would be very dangerous. Okay, I think I waited too unnecessarily long, so I will select some random list. It's not important. Now it downloads the data caches to check if there are any pending changes which have not been imported, which will then, of course, tell me if I'm sure to whether or not I want to create the report. Okay. Yep. Come on, faster. Actually, I could. Yeah. Okay. So you get this message from Plant Reporter, and it tells you that there are changes available, and either you create a report, which I will do, then of course my changes are not included, or you cancel because you forgot to import the changes. So if I create the report, now we will not see the changes here I made in PDM or Plant Data Manager. Okay, I don't think we need that. Going back to my host machine, where I will close the project and open it again. And the purpose is so you can see that when you open a project, which I do by selecting, by closing it and opening it to save the time to restart Plant 3D, you will get a notification because there are changes which need to be imported. So I click on Review, which will then open our Plant Data Manager plugin, and then the loading is not done of the project, so there's still something going on, but we can already see that we have here changes from user CB, that's my host machine, and the PlantTools user, which is the virtual machine. I cannot scroll, but you can, now here you see all the changes we made, and you can check which user that made the changes. But in general, what you do then in Plant Data Manager, no matter if it's a collaboration project or not, you will click on essentially or typically on Accept All to accept the changes the engineers made with Plant Data Manager. And after that, the drawing is checked in. So the changes are then, of course, imported into the drawing, and we can check that. So actually making quite good progress right now. Okay, so if we now select, I think here in this drawing I have the heat exchanger. Yep. So if I click on that and I look at the properties palette, we see here the data which was imported, also the tag I changed. Okay, next one is using PlantLink. So I will quickly create a new link configuration. So link, while I do this, PlantLink is a tool which allows you to bring in the multiple purposes. But the main or original purpose was to bring in some sort of external data. In this case, I have from a customer who actually attends. But I don't share any secrets here. It's really just a list, is to get the long description of a service. So I will use it for the pipeline group. So I bring in some data. It's some German words. Again, I will not share anything critical here. Did I? Didn't I? Okay. So what I will do is, let's see here, the property is service on this side. And it doesn't matter in which order I fill that out. And in this table, in this database, which I will not open, The column name is Stoff, which is the German word for medium or service. So PlantLink will use that database or that table. And I want from that table, I want to have the medium, which is the long description. And I want to store that, let's say, in comment. No, actually in description. Yeah, let's use description. And I use on drawing save. Okay, so we get a medium and that will be stored and you will see it in a moment. But more importantly, since this is more a presentation of the workflows for collaboration projects, service long description. So this now also this configuration or actually there are two configuration files. They will now also be checked in, and of course then on my virtual machine later I will be able to show that. So what I will do, I will actually skip a bit to save time. I could use it right now here in my drawing, but I will skip that and I will show it on my virtual machine in Plant Data Manager. So I will also create a calculation, which is you can view that as similar to what you do in Excel when you have a cell and you want to put a formula into the cell and you do some calculation. It's not necessarily a mathematical calculation, but it is some sort of calculation. And what I have here, what I use comment, for example, edit. And now you would type in or select you have your functions and you have your properties. But I, of course, prepared something which I paste in here. And apparently there may be a question. So what this is doing is it checks the type property if it's longer than 0 characters. If so, it takes the first character and stores it then in the property comment. Otherwise, it shows not applicable or not available. So this is my calculation. Again, this calculation file is checked in now. In the meantime, I try to see what the question was. Chat can incorporate to the current project, to the current, yes. So if you have an existing project, maybe that's a good question. If you have an existing project already running on Plant, BIM 360 or Autodesk Collaboration Cloud, you can just install PlantTools and configure it. They will add their necessary files to the existing project. So you don't need to create the files, let's say in your template and then share it before you can work. You can use it on a running project. So now I will go to my virtual machine again to skip the part. I will open the project again in Plant Data Manager and then show you. Okay, something. What did I? Not quite sure what that message was. Did I close? Yeah, actually I need to close the drawings because I want to make, actually, no, I would not need to. I close them anyway. Okay, I'm done. So when we developed this, we really went through all the use cases you can have within a multi-user environment like collaboration projects or BIM 360. Okay, so going back to my virtual machine, the project is still loading. And then I will show that this link configuration and the calculation are available here and that they are working. Okay. I'm wondering. Yeah, okay. So that's just a loading procedure. So let's have a look at the link configurations. Again, some checking out is required. And then, we will see if the dialog opens, yeah, we see the link configuration I created on my host machine, and I will skip over the part this, to save time. The same applies to the calculation, and you will see it in action in a moment if the checking in is done. Also, I should mention that because we're recording this and this is a team session, the machine is a bit slower, or the internet connection is a bit slower as well. That doesn't really help when you use BIM. Come on, it's just one XML file. Okay, so the link configuration is working in a way that, yeah, you can also see here these icons, which indicates that there is a link configuration. So for example, yeah, you see here some text, which now will change if I use a different service. Or you can actually, yeah, I don't want to show the list again. It's customer property, or I think 1300 is also a valid one, or that's cold water, if I translate that correctly. So this is the link configuration now running in Plant Data Manager, and the other one is instrumentation. This is the calculation I created. I will showcase this here in the properties palette. You can do it here or in the properties palette. So when I select something here, it will use the first character and will store it here in, no, that's not what I wanted. And it stores it in the comment. Now it's not yellow anymore because it was L before. So do we have anything else? T. Yeah, you can see it. It takes the first character, and if I select something like nothing, then it shows not available. Okay, so I think that should do it. What I want to mention, but again, it's now already a little bit too much time went on regarding all these changes to the setup of any plant tool configuration file or yeah, or user interface. If you enter, let's say, the Plant Express tool settings on one machine, on this, and then you go to then another user tries to open the settings also on another machine, you get a dialog which tells you that it's not possible because user XYZ has on machine, I'm not quite, yeah, I think we show the machine name as well, but the username and is shown, and it tells you who has it currently checked out, but you cannot, let's say, corrupt the setup by having multiple users working on the setup files in general of PlantTools. So this is also was a big part of the development. But now that we have this library of functions, we can adapt one PlantTool function after the other rather quickly. And hopefully, yeah, the next release, especially of Plant Express tools with more functions, Plant Data Manager, will come soon. I also should mention that we just released last week the PlantTools 7 or 7.0.0, which support now also 2024 or Plant 3D 2024. Okay, so then I thank you for your attendance, and yeah, there will be an email with a link to the videos and more information after yeah, sometime next week. Have a nice day, and hopefully I see you tomorrow for my session of how to onboard GIA offices. Yeah, okay, have a nice day.